There's this exercise that's kind of going around at certain retreats right now, certain workshops. It's getting really sensationalized on social media. And I'm sure would be shocked if you haven't seen it. So essentially, and I haven't done one, so like full disclosure, like maybe there's a ton of context that I don't have, and maybe that would change my mind, and I'm always open to that. So like if you have it, please let me know. Like I won't be offended. I just want to learn. But from what I've seen is there is this circle that's created of women, and around them are the men, and then the men end up bowing to the women.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Have you seen it?
No, I just heard about it.
Yeah, so I will add a little clip.
Aubrey Marcus, did he I feel like he posted something about this.
We were at that retreat. I left early. My husband was there, and he has his own perspective. So I guess if he ever wants to share it, he can. The short is like he didn't agree with it, and he experienced it. So like I know there's context that I don't have, and again, open to hearing it. But my husband, who did participate, and he is the most open-minded person you will ever meet. So he went into it like, I want to learn and observe
what's
and see
going
what
on
this
here
is about.
Yeah.
So I want to experience it before I have an opinion. So he did it. I told him I didn't want him to do. I found out the exercise was happening. I'm like, I will never tell you what to do. Like, you are your own person. I would like you to not do this exercise. And I gave him my reasoning.
And then he still did it?
And he still did it.
And you were okay?
And I'm okay.
You didn't
It
die.
wasn't a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a fight at all. I was just like expressing like my honesty, like my perspective. And
can you share that? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and he was like, well, I just don't know. Like again, so open-minded that he went in with zero judgment, where I have my judgment.
Or your intuition.
Or my intuition, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be judgment.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for that reframe. Beautiful. Yeah. My perspective or my intuition or judgment around this situation, and this is coming from someone who didn't have that safe harbor. My dad left at a very young age. I never talked to him again. I felt like, why am I not lovable? There was abuse. Like, I pretty much had one of the worst relationships you could have with like that man that's supposed to provide you an example of unconditional love or safety, right? Like quite literally the man that brought me into the world was physically abusive. So what does that tell me about my safety going out into the world? And I've done my own work with that, and I feel very safe around men now, and I have for a long time. So even if I could go back to my more wounded self, my younger self, I have that perspective, and then I have the healed version now that is also the mother of 2 boys. So I have that perspective. So I have like kind of both opposing parallels here. Mm-hmm. I think for me, what makes me feel safe is a man who is fully embracing his masculine, who doesn't feel that he needs to make himself smaller for me to make myself feel safe, that doesn't have to compromise his self in order to provide room for me. What makes me feel safe is like a warm embrace or someone who's just standing there fucking sturdy as a rock. Like I always think of my husband, like he is unwavering. Like you can throw anything at him and he will show up for you. Like that man is just dedicated. And that's what makes me feel safe. What doesn't make me feel safe is like a man who's tiptoeing and retroactively apologizing for like the harm that maybe the masculine has done or the quote patriarchy has done. That doesn't make me feel safe. That makes me feel like if I can make you bend the knee, then what else is what's gonna happen when something real comes and rocks you? Like I can't have confidence that you're gonna show up. And then also that's taking the work off of me. It's my job to make myself feel safe. No one else can do that, right? Like there's obviously situational stuff like dark alleys, etc.
Right.
But like that core feeling, like that neutral of safe, like is my body constantly contracting? Like this is something that I've had to work with. Like I'm constantly in a Kegel. My root chakra is like always telling me you are not safe. So there's still work to be done, but like again, like that's an internal thing. That has nothing to do. We're podcasting and I'm like Kegling right now. Why do I feel like I need to be contracted? And like, you know, there's obviously years of experience that tells my body this is the way that you behave, but no man bending at my feet right now is going to make me relax. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I want a man to again like unlock that wild man and that beast and tame it. That makes me feel safe.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
I agree. Ooh, I love that. I forget what kicked that off for you.
Like what basically the idea of men.
We didn't finish the story.
Oh.
I'm like, wait, no. I need to hear the story. I'll talk, but first I want the story.
So that's my opinion of the exercise based
but I don't
off
know
of the
exercise.
context. So like the women will stand there.
What are they doing?
Receiving
gratitude? I feel like that's what I heard on the clip.
It could be and again, I wasn't there. My interpretation was that there were a series of questions.
Okay.
And it was almost like however way you had been wronged in the past by the masculine or meant to feel unsafe by the masculine, it was these men stepping in to be there to help you feel healed and safe and seen. And by like surrendering to the divine feminine, being able to embrace like Gaia and that energy. But that seems like a very powerful, potent tool, and not everyone is probably at the place to receive that the way that it's meant to be. Have you ever recommended a book to someone that you just
and they weren't ready for it,
and then they took it and you're like, did we just read two different books? Because that's not what it meant, and it actually makes the problem worse.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the same with whether it's a psychedelic or whether it's like some really spiritual tool like this. I think in the right container with the right and very specific vetting and pairing. Like, are you doing that with husbands and wives?
Vetting and pairing. I think that you hit the nail on the head.
You can't just like randomly pair people, because what if you had a man that had a very feminist mom growing up who kind of always blamed the man, the masculine. Men have it easier. You're the reason that I don't have the rights that I do. Like, women have it so much harder. Like, just the blaming, like the sex blaming. So he's not allowed to step into his masculinity. He goes to one of these retreats to try to find it, and now you have him bending the knee. Like, now he's going to hate women.
What was your husband's response to it? So he did it. First of all, can I ask, why didn't you want him to do it? What was your intuition kicking in and telling you? And then what was his understanding of it after?
So my reason that I didn't want him to do it was I pictured two boys there, like my sons. And I don't think that unless they had done something wrong to this woman that they're trying to heal, unless that relationship is already there, that retroactively or apologizing or trying to heal something that you didn't partake in, I don't think that sends a good message. It's almost like it kind of perpetuates like a lot of this woke stuff that he seemingly is supposed to be against, right? Which is like collective guilt, collective apologies, retroactive apologies. I wasn't there. My boys didn't do anything. Like, they haven't been misogynist, or like they're not part of the patriarchy. Like, all of these things that we're trying to say are making women feel unsafe. So I just don't understand the apology aspect for it. And again, I don't get a man. I think when a man gets on a knee, like, when does that happen in our culture? It's to propose. It's to propose love to somebody. I think that is like a pretty big signal. And to just kind of throw that out loosey-goosey doesn't make sense to me either. And is that person that you're bending to in a place to receive it in the healthiest way? Or are you exacerbating the problem of women that are in their masculine, that don't know it, and you're perpetuating that cycle? Like, she just dominated a man. I'm literally domineering over you in this position, right? I don't need that. That makes me feel like I have to be the protector, that no one's going to show up. I need someone to let me feel vulnerable and small. And there's this thing that one of my like spiritual teachers told me the other day, and it just resonates with me specifically because that was me. I was always like defending myself, and I had to be the masculine, and like, I've got this, I will domineer. Is you are so protected, especially as a woman, in your vulnerability. Think about a newborn baby. They're protected in their vulnerability. Everyone knows like how delicate they are, so we just show up for them.
Yeah,
we show up for them because we know that that's where they're at and what they need, and like it gives me a purpose, like duty, responsibility, like love. It gets me excited to be able to like be the caregiver. And like so many men are like that too. They want to show up for us. So if you allow yourself to be in that vulnerable position, then you're now allowing someone to take care of you. And now he lights up because he's like, I get to take care of you.
And that's hard. It can be hard to do that.
Yeah. So I was like, it goes against everything that I believe. I feel like we have so many women that need and want to be vulnerable. They just don't know how.
Yeah.
And we have so many men that want to step into masculinity and they don't know how. And when you have this exercise that's quite literally almost exacerbating that problem, like, I don't understand. So that was my reason. And like, I was just like,
And you explained that to your husband.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm still going to do it.
And he's like, I understand.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. He's like, he did.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I'm going to make a decision when the time comes. When the time comes, and I'll make whatever decision I feel is right. and I'll let you know.
Yeah.
So he goes to do the
What a
exercise.
beautiful relationship and exercise right there. I'm just like, and that is the way it's done, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, because I'm not his mom.
Exactly.
I will never tell him what to do.
Yeah.